Welcome to GabTalks, where we provide tools, tips, and techniques to help your life and business be easier, better, and faster. Hello, hello, hello. How are you today? I'm Gabriella, and this is GabTalks Success Tips from Experts. Today, I'm bringing to you an incredible lady with such an interesting and inspiring background and story. Super resonated with me because I think I have a very similar arc and story to my background. So I think that you all will get tons and tons of value from our interview today with Claudia-Sam Cataford-Suve. How are you today?
I'm doing so well. Thanks so much.
I'm super excited to have you here because you mentioned that you had a background in corporate and now you do something totally different. That's very similar to mine. So I'm really excited to share all about you with our audience. So let's jump in and talk about your expertise.
Thank you for asking, Gabriella. My expertise is that I help people get out of their head and access their heart using my tune in method, especially when we go about our day to day and we're so used to going in the go, go, go. So I help people to tune back inwards.
Will you talk to us a little bit more about that?
Yes, totally. I think that I have one of these relationships with my mind where I think I have these many different voices in my head and I have conversations with different parts of me. And I think I'm not the only one to do that, where there will be the worried Wally or the annoying Nancy or all these different voices inside of me that actually prevent me from enjoying life, from being in the present moment. So when I help people to get out of their head, it's also about recognizing all that's going on in there and to not give our power away to the fear or the anger so that we can be more in joy.
That's amazing. We have our positive voices that we talk to as well. But I think that a lot of us have this idea that we need to try and stifle and shut down those negative voices instead of listening to them and working through so that they can be solved and resolved.
Totally. There's this thing I like to use with my clients, and I call this the emotional archetype assessment. And I have people tune in and go, okay, are you a volcano where you'll explode in places where you don't feel safe? Or do you feel like you're a wave and it's up and down? Or does it feel like it's a rock and you're holding it all in? And maybe we want to be the river where it flows and we can be with it all.
Oh my gosh, Claudia-Sam, you are so speaking my language. And I feel like there are a ton of people out there when they hear this, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, she's talking to me. I know you have a really interesting and incredible background and story that got you to where you are. I sort of mentioned it a little bit earlier. Share yours with us.
I often will share a corporate story and I will share that with you. And I feel inspired to talk to you about the piece of the backstory that is the underlying piece of the mission for me. And I'm going to tell you about someone that you also might resonate in your own life, someone who might have inspired you. And for me, I saw in 2015 my grandmother pass away without ever having lived her purpose. I'm sharing this because you might also see people in your entourage not fully happy, not fully tuned in to what they're here for. And what I know of her is that she would go to psych wards because she would have those voices in her head and she would be called crazy. She did not learn how to be with her emotions. She did not learn to process these emotions and be in the present moment. So she would just gob a bunch of pills. And what I learned from that time is that I have to say, I would use Advils as painkillers, so much so that I would have these bottles every month that would be for headaches. That comes from my lifestyle when I was in my 20s, was that I would just put work, 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 work on the plate all the time. That was my priority. I was not in a loving relationship. I didn't have a life outside of work. And one summer, I worked 180 hours overtime without getting paid. And that did it. I said, I'm not going to do this. This isn't the life I want to live. And so I burned out after I changed jobs thinking it was about the job, but it was
Huh.
actually about the work culture and that overwhelm, the doing mindset that was not serving me, that I was just carrying everywhere I was going.
And we get taught and coached and guided that this is the culture that we're supposed to aspire into. And then, like you said, we wind up not being fulfilled.
And this is where I love what I do now, because we are so at choice. We are, I believe, souls living a human experience. That is one of the things that one of my yoga teachers, one of the most influential people in my life, was a teacher who taught me just to see things differently. And his name was Ram. And he used to say, you are living a human experience. When I started to really embody that and live that, wow, it got me to think, okay, we are at choice. We can make these decisions and we don't have to live life like everyone else. We don't have to live life at 1,000 miles an hour. We get to be the decision makers here.
Absolutely. Speaking of influence, you just mentioned your yoga teacher. And I think a lot of us find teachers in our lives that can inspire us. And I know you have several other really cool inspirations to share with us.
One of the books that was the most influential for me was Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life, because she talks about using affirmations to rewire the neural pathways and also to notice anything that's happening in the body and how that has a direct link with underlying meaning of how we show up in life. For example, the headaches I used to have, well, I was putting so much pressure on myself. No wonder I was having all these headaches. So I
Right?
really got to learn more about that and start seeing things for the deeper aspect.
That's incredible. Hello, hello, awesome listener. Thank you so much for joining us today at GabTalks Success Tips from Experts. We're going to take a short break and say thank you to our sponsors. It is through the generous support of these sponsors that we are able to bring to you these amazing experts that are sharing their best tips for your success. So please listen to what our sponsors have to say, and hopefully they're going to inspire you that you're going to click their links and go support them.
It's time to take a vacation from processed foods. The ultimate lifestyle transformation kit will upgrade the way you look, feel, and perform, or will give you your money back, guaranteed. By taking a vacation from processed foods, you will detoxify your organs, cleanse your cells, and remove chemicals from your gut. And once you begin to nourish your cells and balance your hormones, you may notice increased energy, lower stress, deeper sleep, heightened mental clarity, improved digestion, and sexy lean muscle. Any of that sound interesting to you? You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. You already eat every day, and what you eat really matters. This is your chance to upgrade your food, upgrade your health, and upgrade your life.
You've all heard, and you know how powerful it is to send thank you cards, notes of appreciation, and gifts that build and maintain relationships. However, writing and sending generic impersonal greetings and gifts one by one just is so overwhelming and takes so much time. Not to mention, these days, who wants to deal with lines at the post office, running out of stamps, or having to print stamps yourself? And then there's the embarrassment of missing an important date altogether. Yikes. So what can you do? If you go to marketyourbiz.guru, you will be able to get help with your greetings and gifts that are printed, stamped, stuffed, and mailed automatically for you. Make sure that you tell them Gabriella sent you. So if you were able to go back and talk to yourself when you were in high school, college, or some of our younger folks, what one piece of advice would you share to help them down their path?
Stop trying to figure it out and tune in to your inner wisdom and guidance so that you can do it your way. It doesn't have to be more intense than that. What I can say is that I used to focus on needing to know how, the exact steps, the
Mhm.
exact tools, the exact one right way to do business. And I think a lot of us are like that. And sometimes I still have that show up peeking out through the window going, hey, you still want to know the right way to go, except we have all the answers inside of us. So that's why I created the tune in method, because I think I got really good at flexing my soul connection muscle and being my own inner guide.
Yeah, I know a couple weeks ago, I was having that little niggle that said, oh, you need to go and do something that's like super detailed minutia, because it's what I did for years. And so I went and built a web page with a bunch of little details that required a whole bunch of links. And I did it because it moved my business forward, and it allowed me to tune into that. I just needed that to do something like that. And gosh, I wish I'd been able to hop on the phone with you when that came up, because I know you would have given me some great advice around that.
Thank you for sharing that advice. And also, the cool thing about coaching, I think, is that as a coach, as a soul connection coach, I help you just go, oh, wait, I know what to do, instead of going, oh, what would you do? And asking other people for what's the way to
Right.
go.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of us have a really hard time tuning into ourselves. So let's talk about some pieces of advice that I know that you have to share with our audience.
The tip that has proven to be so effective for me and my clients is to be present. What
Mhm.
that means is be present with the celebrations, the good things that are happening in your life. Are you willing to be grateful and celebrate them? Be with them instead of already thinking of what you did wrong or how you can improve it. Being present with, for example, we are cyclical beings. Women and men are cyclical beings. As a woman who learns how to handle her whole menstruation journey, I actually use this as my business cycle, because I don't have the same energy on when I'm in my inner summer full on ovulation versus when I'm bleeding and needing more rest and rejuvenation. And so being present with the body is so important. And okay, if you don't have menstruation, great. You can be present with the headaches or with the knee pain or with the lower back pain. It's all great. Being present with what feels good to you instead of with what other people think you should do, or what the past has proven is possible,
Yeah.
or what the future holds. Really being present with what feels good in the now. The other tip I have for you is make decisions from the intuition and in alignment with the experience that you want to have. One of the questions that you can ask yourself for this tip is, how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel? And then make a decision based on how you want to feel so that you can actually take aligned action to feel that way. And that goes hand in hand with not going with the, well, I should really be doing this, or, oh, but I need to do this first because otherwise, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
In other words, choosing what uplifts you instead of what drains you.
I think people don't really approach things in that way. So that is some incredible advice, because, like you said, oh, I feel like this, instead of how do I want to? Like, shifting our thoughts about how we approach it is so different. And yet, it's not at all different. It's just a different way of being. That's
Totally.
so that's so incredible. And personally, very enlightening. Like, it's one of those things where but it's different when you hear someone else say it. And then you're like, "Poof," and you have that little light bulb.
I totally get that. Yeah. And it's a process too. Sometimes saying yes to ourselves and saying no to others kind of feels stretchy. It also doesn't have to be like a clean cut of I'm always going to say no to what people ask of me because it's draining. No, we get to just, like a colander. We say yes to some things slowly, we say no to others, and then it just falls all into place and into balance.
That's awesome. On each episode of GabTalks Success Tips from Experts, we like to highlight a hero sponsor who is a business that chooses to highlight a do-good organization in their own community that is bettering the world. Today's hero sponsor is...
Hello, I'm Deborah Thorne, the Information Diva, author, coach, trainer, speaker, and the proud host of the Leverage Conference for speakers, authors, and entrepreneurs. Today, it is my pleasure to highlight one of my favorite nonprofit organizations, Demo Chicks. Demo Chicks empowers, elevates, and enlightens girls and young women in the non-traditional fields of architecture, construction, and engineering. For more information about Demo Chicks, please use the link below. Thank you for your support.
So, speaking of falling into place and into balance, I know that a lot of people could absolutely benefit from tuning into themselves. So I would love for you to share with us where people can find you and reach out to you. And we will make sure those links are down below in the chat and in the description.
Thank you. Well, I also have a show, a podcast. It's called the Be Happy Now Show, and that's all about flexing your soul connection muscle and being your own inner guide. You can find me anywhere you listen to your podcast or at thebehappynowshow.com. And on Instagram, I'm at Coach Claudia-Sam, or my website, claudiasamsoulcoaching.com. And lastly, my free Facebook group called You Have It in You.
Nice. If I'm not already a member, I'm going to go join as soon as we're done with this call. I think I might already be a member, but in case I'm not, I'll make sure that I do. And I know that you have an incredible offer that everyone needs to take you up on. Will you share that with us?
Sure. Thanks so much for this platform and for having this conversation with me. The Be Happy Now show has a crew. And so you get to receive free trainings every month. If you want to join the Be Happy Now show crew, there's a specific link for GabTalks. So you go to claudiasamsoulcoaching.com/Be Happy Now -GabTalks. That will be in the show notes too, as Gabriella shared with you. And that is really a way for you to access your intuition and get a little bit of support and one-on-one coaching with me every month for free.
That's awesome. Okay, you guys, go click those links, reach out to Claudia-Sam. You are going to thank me, and you are going to get so much value when you work with her and learn from her amazing coaching. So don't forget to click the links. Make sure you click subscribe, and don't forget to set the reminder so you know when our next episode is airing. Hey, thanks so much for watching. We hope you got value today. We want to give a huge shout out of gratitude to our contributors. Please make sure you click the subscribe button below, and don't forget to click the bell up above to get reminders when we add new content.